Welcome to this edition of Miles Ahead, and this time we're looking at the Caterham 7 310R. Now, fairly basic driving concept, seats and a steering wheel, and there's not much more going on. It's a very pure driving experience. It's all focused on that. Now, the model is tested here is £35,000, which you may or may not think is quite a lot of money for such a basic package. But if you're looking at track days, you're looking for something to put a smile on your face at the weekends, then this hits the mark. But we'll get to those sorts of things on the drive along shortly. So this comes with the acid green paintwork. You've got the racing stripes up the front, but other than those little touches, this car doesn't really look that much different to when it came into being in the 1960s. You've still got these small 13-inch wheels at the front here. You've got your headlamps poking off there. This is the R version, so it's set up for track racing specifically. It's got a slightly larger chassis, which is handy because if you're slightly larger like I am, it makes it slightly easier to get in and out of. This comes with the optional heated front windscreen, which is £1,500, which, you know, handy if you're going to be using it in winter. So you've got the exhaust system comes down the side of you, so you hear all the pops and bangs and revs from the engine as you go along, and you know that just adds to the sense of theatre that this car provides. But as you can see inside, it's very basic in there. We've got seats, we've got a steering wheel, and all your gauges are up there. You know, there's no stalks for the indicators, everything's on there. We'll have a close look in there in a minute, but while we're here, we'll have a look at the boot. So you've got a choice between taking the roof or some luggage with you. So let's see what we can fit in here. Undo these poppers, and in here we have one rucksack and one coat, and that's about your lot. So let's have a look inside. Okay, so let's have a look at the interior of the Caterham 7. So to open the door, lift that popper here, lift that popper there, mount the door on the bonnet, and then in you get. I'm not going to bore you by trying to put the seatbelt on because life's too short for watching videos of people on YouTube putting 4-point harnesses on, clambering there, so not too ungainly, and once you're in here it's actually quite comfortable. You know, plenty of resting place for your arms. It's snug, but it's not uncomfortable, and actually that was one of the surprising things when you're driving it along. Once you're in it, it's quite comfortable. Yeah, you don't sort of think, oh, my back's killing me and all that. You've got these carbon fibre seats, there's a bit of padding on them and all that sort of stuff, so you know there are one or two allowances for comfort in here. So yeah, this is the driving position. You've got a tiny Momo steering wheel, so that, you know, keeps you nice and involved. Speedo, rev counter, lights are flicked on and off here, and you've got the flashing for the full beams there as well. Horn, nice, and starter buttons here, indicators here, and you can do your windscreen wipers, washer fluid and all that, and then you've got all your old school gauges as well for your petrol, temperature and oil pressure, and the heater's operated here, but you turn it on and off. There's a pump you have to pull down here to let the air come in and out, but that does a really good job actually, because the heat's just drawn straight out of the engine, so it does keep your legs toasty when you're driving along, but you might want to remember to bring a bobble hat if it's slightly cooler. It's 5 speeds, Mazda gearbox, yeah, easy enough to use, but yeah, this is really what this is about. This is the seat to be in, and yeah, let's see what it's like to drive now. So what's the Caterham 7 310R like to drive? Well, it is a bit of a one-trick pony, so if it's no good in these settings, it's no good at all. And I'm happy to report it's a very enjoyable experience. But as you can see, we have got the perfect Caterham 7 conditions. The sun is shining upon us. We're in England's green and pleasant lands, and this is what this car was built for, really, and it doesn't disappoint. I mean, this car has remained largely unchanged since it was built in the 60s. I guess there's an element of, if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it, and Caterham, they've certainly got a winning model. I mean, they're still selling them by the thousands. People love these cars, can't get enough of them, and the track day industry's booming at the moment. We're just coming out of lockdown, people have got a bit of cash in their pockets, and yeah, looking for a good time, and this is certainly one way of getting it. I mean, there's no mod cons in this car at all. It's just you and the car. There's no ABS, no power steering, there's no traction control. If you make a mistake, well, you know, you're on your own and it was your fault. You know, the steering's heavy in, you know, like urban settings, you've really got to yank it around, but once you get going at speed, it's very precise. The slight inputs just manoeuvre you nicely, and it's a really pure experience. I mean, and if you did get one, I mean, you're going to want to go on a track day in it. I mean, it would absolutely excel in those conditions, and that's, again, you know, this is the arse. This was built, this is track built, really. It's got slightly larger chassis to fit us in, which is useful because I'm 6'2". But yeah, I've just really enjoyed this car, and everyone seems to love it as well. I've had so many positive comments from people going, oh, you know, love the car and all that sort of stuff, and you know, that's a really nice positive aspect to this car. And yeah, it's got its foibles. I mean, if you want to go away for the weekend, you've got to make a decision between taking luggage or taking the roof. So you've got to kind of pray it doesn't rain, which in England isn't really something you can rely on too much. But you know, that holds it back as an A to B sort of car. But as an A to A, just getting out for a drive, yeah, this car is great, and you're going to know straight away if this car's a bit of you or if it's not. I mean, you know, some people don't want to make the compromises, and for £35,000 you can buy a lot of comfortable second-hand sports car, you can buy a lot of new hot hatch for that sort of thing. So, you know, you've got options, but I mean, it sounds great as well. You've got the exhaust is right down beside me here, and it gives out these lovely little pops and bangs when you're on the down changes and that sort of thing. I mean, one other drawback in the driving experience, you do need to give it a bit of heel and toe on the downshifts. So my feet are too big to traditionally heel and toe, and the brake pedal and the accelerator are just slightly too far away, so you sometimes find your foot sliding off the brake pedal, and you do need to change down the gears because the brakes aren't actually that good, so you need to do quite a bit of engine braking to get it to stop. I mean, again, that just goes back to the purity of the driving experience. I mean, it is old school, but I mean, if that's what you're looking for, and you're just looking for a car for a weekend runner that's going to put a smile on your face, which is all that this car's about, then yeah, it absolutely hits the mark.